the house, which is where they introduced you now.
Yeah, because
what do you do
on.
as head of the house?
I have children that look up to me. They come to me with their problems. When it comes
How many people?
Well, it varies. Sometimes I've had as many as 70, and sometimes down to 20.
Can anyone, if I say I want to join the House of LaBeija, do I get in?
It used to be easy.
Yeah,
but
so it's really like a fraternity.
Easy.
So it's like
yes, it's like a fraternity in a college.
Now they want you to win. In other words, you have to go to the ball and make a statement. You've got to win a trophy, and then
maybe they'll let you come into the house.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some houses that are better than other houses.
Yeah, of course, like in life.
Yeah, yeah. What about you, Willie? Are you part of a house?
Well, in the mid-'80s, I had the House of Ninja formed.
House of Ninja,
yeah,
right.
I was the mother of that, and
how many people in the House of Ninja?
Yeah, when we first started, it was only 10.
Right.
And then it progressed during a couple of years later. Then I started hitting career-wise, and I said, well, you can't have a part-time mother, so I kind of closed the house. And from there, Patricia Field started her house and asked me to join her, so now...
Which is called the House of Field.
House of Field.
Now, as a head of a house, do they live with you? Do you lend them money? Do you act as a psychiatrist?
Yeah.
What does a head of a house do?
You do. You lend money to your friends, very much money,
yeah.
and advice, and that sort of thing. They don't live with you, very seldom. Sometimes, or like if someone's down on their luck or got evicted or whatever, you might take them in if they're in your house for a few days or something.
So
but
really, it's like a group. It's like a club.
It's like a club. That's exactly.
Takes care of each other.
It's just very. Each house is very different, but some houses are like a close-knit family. They do look after each other. They stick together. If they're in the club and one is in trouble, then that house is behind them.
Right.
You know.
So this is really a way of dealing with society, Jenny. It's much more.
Well, I think also one thing that Pepper and Dorian say in the film is that many people have been actually kicked out by their families. They come out, they say, I'm gay at 13 or 14 or 15 or 16 or 17. The family says, I can't deal with you, you're not my child, you know, and that person is left on the street, and this happens a lot to gay teenagers.
And this is supposedly, parents say, oh, I love my child no matter what. But as soon as they hear that, I could see people like, will love a murderer more, will love a rapist more, but if they say they're gay, I disown you. You're dead, you're non-existent. I don't see you anymore, and I know quite a few people that's happened to.
What about the neighborhood now? Because you're in rough streets. How do you protect each other this way? To be gay in Harlem, I think, would be much more difficult than to be gay on East 57th Street.
Well, actually, let me correct that. I mean, please, no, anti-gay violence has gone up 200% in the last couple of years, probably as a result of prejudice involving AIDS, or just as a result of people's tendency to be prejudiced about something or other. And I think actually that's not restricted to neighborhoods in Harlem. That happens a lot in the West Village because people go there to find gay people. I mean, it's dangerous everywhere in New York.
I've told people in the past, they've always said, when they were, say, reading us, they would say, well, you guys that dress up in women's clothes, you're finding an easy way out. But they don't realize we have a harder time than the heterosexual man. Because first of all, we have to deal with the fact that if you're a person of color, you have to deal with that. Then you have to deal with the fact that you want to be different. And when you go against the grain, the majority, they want to get you.
Does
so we have a harder
count in the homosexual world? See, because I've never found... It does. All right, tell me.
Like in any other world.
Really? Really? Okay, you say, of course, because I've been so involved and I've never thought...
When I first started getting into balls, when I first came to New York, because I came with a show and we settled in New York, and when I first went to the early balls, and outside of Phil Black's ball, which was up in Harlem, so that was the contrary rule. But the other balls, Pepper will tell you, like certain balls, I won't mention which one, but if you were of color, you weren't going to get in unless you knew someone or unless your color was very pale. You know, you just weren't going to get in. That's what started the balls uptown. There was nothing for the children of color downtown, actually. And then there was also nothing for anyone who wasn't going to wear feathers and beads.
Yes, because this, to me, you two...
Look like a ball, like
Look like what I've been to a lot of drag balls, and I've been to a lot of... you know, I'm the one that has to vote, which also kills you because everybody looks so good, and you've got to say, oh, okay, I vote for number 3. But when they said drag, And then I went and I saw people dressed as schoolgirls, trying to look like a schoolgirl. I found that so fascinating.
That's because we became dinosaurs.
Yeah.
No one wants to spend the money or expense of making beaded gowns and buying feathers and going without other things to do all this madness. And when it's so much easier to just wear a sportswear or something, and then you can still perform, you can still participate without having to spend a great deal of money. So they got many categories for that.
I want to go into more on your backgrounds and your childhood and what your families, you know, because you thought when they first saw you looking good. But looking good, not the way they want to see Junior looking good. We'll be back in a moment to discuss this and a lot more, so please stay with us.
It's been really unbelievable, my life. If I was to die today or tomorrow, I could not say I've not had an exciting life. I have had a fabulous, and I'm not rich, mind you. Just imagine if I had the dollars